As I mentioned a few days ago, hello, by the way, I'm Peter. Thank you for listening today. As I mentioned a few days ago, newsreaders have a particularly difficult job because they might have 10 or 12 stories, say, over 3 or 4 minutes, each of which, as I mentioned yesterday, can have a different tone. You've got to pitch the tone correctly for each different story, depending on the content and the context. I spoke about this in quite some depth yesterday. So, you may be required to present a story about a singing parrot one moment and then deliver breaking news of a terrorist attack. And each of those stories needs to be read in a different tone, which requires you to swap tracks or gear from one tone to another, not only over the course of a bulletin, but from one story to another, but also within a headline sequence. Yeah, headline sequences are even worse because you only have one sentence to re-pitch your tone between stories. You've got a beat. So in this situation, you may just have, half a second between stories to reset. If you look in the show notes, you'll see 4 stories there. So imagine those as a headline sequence. And you can see they're all quite different. They go from really serious to quite light and fun. Yeah? From one complete story to another, you can change tonal track by using silence, in fact. So let's look at each of those points in turn. So first of all, the headline sequence. A plane crash in India has killed 32 people. A fire has torn through a factory in Manchester early this morning. Loan charges by banks are set to stay unchanged, and the Queen has celebrated her 100th birthday. Yeah, you can see how the tone with each of those, with just a beat's pause in between, changes from line to line to line to line. And as I say, you can change tonal tracks by using silence as well. I'll give you a quote from Simon McCoy. He was a BBC News presenter and journalist, and said, "Use silence. It's a wonderful thing to change gear. You might look down, look at your notes, change your expression a bit. The viewers can tell in you, because they get to know you quite well, they know how we work. And if there's a change of mood, I think they spot it. It's all about the voice." And this is what television does in a way that radio can't, because I think you're using your face too. And a lot of presenters just think we're there to read what's there and not give of ourselves. I think if you don't do that, you're letting your audience down. Yeah. That universal empathy I mentioned a couple of days ago. And of course, as Simon says there, it's easier on TV than it is on audio, a radio, podcast, because on TV or video, people can see your change of bodily attitude, if you like. And that is why I'm joining everything together with Get a Better broadcast, podcast and video voice. And I continue tomorrow from London. I'm Peter Stewart.